Okay, hey everybody, happy Monday. I hope everyone had a fabulous weekend. And now it's time for you to be the scientist just with me. Be the scientist. So it is Gravity Week. So we're talking all things gravity. What goes up must come down. That's right. And especially for the occasion, I've got some floating space people dress. And, changing up my buttons, very excited for a grown-up show, Parks and Recreation, to come on Thursdays. So I'll be tuning into that. And if you are tuning in from home, make sure that you say hi in the comments. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me okay. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So today we've got two great books and one really cool do-it-yourself experiment. Now, I have to say that I did try an experiment right before I went on the air, and it ended with me shattering my light bulb. So I'm going to try that one out again on Wednesday outside where I have a little more room. But as a preview, it involves a bucket and water and spinning the bucket around. I did not realize how tall I was. Um, but we're gonna get that all put together. And you know what? I am so silly because I realized I'm naked without my antenna. So I'm gonna get my antenna while we talk all about gravity. So last live stream, we explored gravity with lots of different household objects. And we used softballs and we used shoes and we tried to compare and contrast how different things fell down. And I did share a special fact. If you weren't with us last time, I do want to share with you that Isaac Newton, we're going to talk about him today, he developed his theory of gravity while he was in quarantine. Not only did he make that, but he created the entire study of calculus. Can you believe that? And it didn't really get big until after he passed away. But, what are you going to do with your quarantine? I don't know about you, but I'm reading a whole ton of really fun books with all my new friends right here. So let's get started with our very first book. And let's see who is in the chat here. Oh, we've got Kira and Lainey Oldham. We've got Carolina Almedo with Nikolai. And it looks like Lainey enjoyed dropping lots of stuff last week during the Gravity preview. So we're going to have a full Gravity week this week. And you can check out my public calendar through my link tree to see what the future themes are going to be. I've got some really fun ideas planned out for you. Okay, so let's switch screens here and we are going to go. Let's start with a book that is called, or a series of books that I loved looking at in the library called A Just Ask Book. So, all the questions that your kiddos and you are asking your grown-ups are covered in this book. So, let's get this a little bit smaller here. There we go. Whoops. Moving the wrong things around. Anyone else having fun learning all new technologies? I've been loving playing around with Zoom and all the other fun apps out there. Okay, so this book is called What is Gravity? And I think we can even, yeah, get it a little bit bigger there. Okay, what is gravity? A Just Ask book. This book belongs to you. I found this through the Internet Archive, so you too can take out this book as soon as I return it after the show. So it says, Dear parent, in What is Gravity, your child will learn that gravity is a force that keeps things in place. Monkey uses an apple to show Christopher and his friends how gravity works. Then it's off to a ball game to learn what gravity does to a baseball. Grab your bat and ball, peanuts and popcorn, and head for the park. So let's check it out. What is gravity? And it looks like we just met our friend Christopher the mouse. Hey, I wonder, why do things fall? I know, it's caused by gravity, said the monkey. Gravity? What's that? Said Christopher. It's a very hard thing to explain, but I'll try. Let's start with an apple. That's interesting, said the rabbit, who just joined us. When I drop the apple, it falls to the ground. Watch it fall. Look out, Christopher! And look, there's a little mouse, or not mouse, there's a little worm in there too. When I jump off the rock, I fall to the ground. You can try it too. Gravity is the force that makes this happen. We can't see it and we can't feel it. Gravity pulls things towards the ground. It keeps our feet on the ground. Getting a lot of spam calls these days. I don't know about you all. Okay. Just imagine if we lived in a place where there was no gravity. Look at these pictures. They show what it would be like. See our friends floating in the air? Everything would float in the air. Look at this chair and table. They float just like the animals. And for those of you who have checked out Storytime on the International Space Station, you'll know that they float around too. Gravity on the Earth keeps us on the ground. A scientist, Isaac Newton, studied about gravity, and he told us many things about gravity. Gravity also explains the way that things move. Remember the apple? When I drop it, it falls in a straight line until it hits the ground. And finally, our worm speaks up and says, "Hey, careful. If I drop it and it hits this branch, it'll change directions. Then it falls in a straight line until it hits the ground." Now, if we look at the apple on the ground, it's never going to start to move by itself. Gravity will hold it in place. It will never move unless someone or something makes it. And we're going to explore this topic of the laws of gravity in our next episode on Wednesday. Or, I'm sorry, the laws of motion, the three laws of motion, in which gravity plays a big part. We can see this if we look at a ball game. The ball keeps on moving as long as the players are hitting it back and forth. So it looks like the ball is coming in from the outfield and barely missing that crow. Once the ball stops, someone or something has to make it move, or gravity will hold the ball right where it is. So it looks like Christopher is a little confused. He's got the bat out in the outfield, so maybe he's not really sure how to play. But that's okay, because that ball is going to stay right where it is until someone picks it up and throws it to Christopher. Gravity holds you on the ground and keeps things in place around you. It is part of our world on Earth. And look, we got the worm back in the ground, and maybe a little squirrel here, and a little squirrel there. And he's got a nice comfy chair now on the hill. Now I know something about gravity. Okay, wow. Well, Christopher, thank you so much for helping us understand this idea of gravity. So now I want to show you the man behind the theory. And it turns out that he was actually pretty shy and he didn't tell a lot of people about all the great things that he discovered. So let's check this out. Okay, so now we're going to go, like I said, and learn a little bit more about Sir Isaac Newton. Okay, so we've got Isaac Newton and gravity. And believe it or not, a lot of men back then would have this really long, curly wig. Maybe some of them were real, but a lot of them, the longer and more voluminous the curls were, the more high class they were. So let's take a look and learn a little bit more about Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton and gravity. And we're just going to read some excerpts from this book. So here's my table of contents contents. I love a good table of contents. This tells us where all the best parts of the book are. So let's go from 4 to 6, and then we'll skip to 10. A great scientist. Why does an apple fall from a tree? When you jump up, why does it always fall back down? Are you yelling at home, gravity? You're right. We just talked about it. And we talked about it on Friday. So, like we've been saying, gravity is a force that pulls objects towards the Earth. Newton used math to show that gravity also makes the moon travel around the Earth. And we're going to experiment more with outer space and gravity on Wednesday. Other scientists had not been able to figure out how the moon does this. Newton came up with laws to describe how objects move too. Those are the laws of motion. Along with making great discoveries, Newton changed how scientists work. He helped shape the scientific method. I love the scientific method. Does anyone remember the parts of the scientific method? Let's see. Let me pull the chat box back up here. Oh man, looks like I can't really trust my headphones. Do this. And how is that? Is that any better? I thought I fully charged it, but I guess these headphones are losing their life. Let me know if that is a little bit better. And also, if you remember any of the parts of the scientific method, you can write them in the comments. Okay, hoping everyone can hear me at home. We'll find out. Okay, I'll make sure to keep those comments visible. Okay, great. All right, excellent. It is working now. Hooray. Okay, so the scientific method, we always first start with an observation. That's something that we notice. Then we move to a question. Usually observations make me ask questions. So maybe I'm going to ask, why did the apple fall from the tree? Sounds like a good setup for a joke. So that's my observation is I noticed the apple fall. Then my question was why. My hypothesis is because nothing was holding on to it and it dropped. I'm not really sure why. But we can do experiments to prove that gravity is the one at risk here, or is the party responsible. If we drop something else, it's also going to drop down. If we jump up, will also come down. So there's never a time that we'll drop something and it'll go up unless we're in outer space. Okay, and in his early life, we're talking in the 1600s, so pre-America times, or official American times, in England. His mother was named Hannah, and his father's name was Isaac. The older Isaac died before his son was born, but when young Isaac was 3 years old, his mother married again, and after this, his grandmother took care of him. He didn't spend much time with his mother. So it looks like he had kind of a sad youth growing up. He went to college, and he, right here, Cambridge closed down because of an outbreak of a sickness. Hey, that's just like us. So he was quarantining from the plague when he learned and created calculus, which I know some people who have some gripes with it, but mostly because it's kind of hard. Well, I shouldn't say hard. I should say it's challenging because it can be done. Okay, and now we'll go to our main attraction, gravity. So he returned to Cambridge in 1667. In 79, scientist Robert Hooke wrote to Newton. Both men wanted to explain the movements of objects in space. Hooke thought that a force pulled an object toward each other, but couldn't prove it. Newton used math to show how objects are pulled towards other objects by gravity. Gravity acts on objects because they have mass. Remember we talked about mass last time on Friday? Mass is the amount of matter an object has. The more mass an object has, the stronger its gravitational pull will be. Or sometimes, well, it doesn't make a difference of how fast it will fall necessarily, because we learned that everything will fall at once unless there is like air acting on it, like a piece of paper. So gravity pulls an apple towards Earth and also pulls Earth towards the apple. That's an interesting way to think about it. Earth is huge compared to an apple, so its pull is much stronger. The apple falls to the ground while the Earth stays still. And it looks like we've got an astronaut here. People such as this astronaut float when they go up into space. This is because they are too far from Earth for its gravity to hold them into place. Earth's gravity makes sports like skateboarding possible. Without gravity, you would just keep rising up into the sky when you jumped. That actually sounds kind of cool. Okay, so I think that is a good stopping point. And now I want to show you a really cool activity that you can do with household objects, and it's another fun way to test out gravity. Also, if you're enjoying any part of today's stream and are feeling generous, you can find me on Venmo and PayPal at these links. No donation is required, but it's appreciated for this laid-off educator. So now I want to show you this experiment. Okay, so as you can see, on my whiteboard, I've clipped a bunch of toilet paper tubes and paper towel rolls. So hopefully I can be loud enough because I am using my computer speaker or my computer microphone. So I want to make sure that everyone can still hear me over here. Okay, great. So I'm going to use these series of toilet paper, and then I cut some paper towel tubes, and I have magnetic clips. You can also do this with just some tape on the fridge or on a wall that your parents let you use. And then I also have 3 ping pong balls, and I'm going to make a course for these ping pong balls to fall down. Now, remember, nothing will start moving until a force acts on it. So, if I just hold these in my hands, they're not going to go anywhere until I drop one. So, let's see if we can make a fun course for the balls to fall into. And I want to try to get it into the basket at the very end. So, let's see. I'm going to start it all the way up here. And you can experiment with the amount of pitch you're using, if it's a really steep hill or if it's less steep. Then we want to make sure that when we have these corners set up, that there's a space in it so that it does bend, but it's not quite as big as the ball is. Otherwise, the ball will come out of the crack. Okay, so now... Ooh, wait, the clip might actually get in the way here. So let me see, what is a better way? Well, we'll test it out and find out if this works. That clip is definitely going to be too big. Let's try this one, might work. Okay, so we need one more. And I think that might send it right into the basket. So let's try it out. We've got our ping pong ball. We're going to drop it in the first one. And I'm just going to hold it up. And then, oh, it looks like my clips are getting in the way a little bit. Or this one just got smushed a little bit. So I'll hold it up instead. Whoop. There we go. So we did get it to drop out. So you can experiment with this with different types of tools, like maybe masking tape would be a better idea instead of those clips, or if your clips are small enough, you might be able to get it to work. So actually, let me see if I can get it to work just by holding it like so. Okay, this might be a little tricky, but the more challenging something is, the more rewarded you feel when you do it. There we go. We got it to drop inside of the basket. So that's pretty cool, huh? The next thing I want to show you is a trick that I showed some other people, but I wanted to show it to you. This one has to do with the orbit. This one has more to do with the orbit of the moon around the Earth. So I have a balloon here, and I put inside of it a bead. Now, if I start kind of shaking it like this to get the bead to move around inside, and I keep moving it, when I stop it, it keeps moving. Can you hear that at home? Makes kind of a wild noise. So you can try this. It does work better with a coin with ridged edges, but when I had made this, it was not close to me. So this one is a really, really fun activity because you can hear how long it goes in a circle for. Okay, so today was a little bit of a shorter episode, but don't forget, you can watch all of my story times on Facebook or on my YouTube page. You can find all these links in Linktree or on my website. My Linktree also has access to a public Google folder drive that I'm putting some fun resources into. So there's the time capsule, the COVID time capsule that I'm also working on. There is the Whirlybird and the Magnus glider, as well as some great CDC documents and some coloring pages that are all very scientific. So before we sign off for the day, it is time for our goodbye song. Now, I want to make sure that if you try any of these experiments, you've got your grown-up with you, or you ask them if it's okay. Make sure that you send pictures in to me. You can find me on any of my social media accounts. I would love to see them. Yeah, you can be the scientist too. So let's sing our goodbye song. So long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. So long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. It's been great to play and read together in the hive, but now it's time to say goodbye. So long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. Bye, everybody. See you on Wednesday for more exciting gravity and outer space science. So long.